What up, guys? Another video this morning. We are doing the what's next on Deontay Wilder, the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion. Wilder returned main event Saturday, May 18th of Showtime, and took on Dominic Breazeale, who was his mandatory number one ranked contender. Wilder scored an explosive first round knockout win. You know what? Impressive win. It really was. Can't take anything away from that. I think when I did my recap, I kind of educated people on who Breazeale was as a fighter going in. So not really going to touch on that too much. It might come back up as we discuss what's going on. So the big question, what's next for Deontay Wilder? Well, the obvious choices are a rematch with Tyson Fury or a unification undisputed title fight with Anthony Joshua. I don't want to wreck anybody's fantasies, but this fight is not happening this year, in my humble opinion. You might ask, why wouldn't this fight happen this year? One, it's a fight that's going to take some time to get made, and to where these two guys really need to sit down. And I'm talking about Wilder and Joshua, because that fight is bigger than the rematch between Wilder and Fury. The reason why is Wilder, some people may not know Joshua as well as Fury, but you should, because Joshua is a bigger name and he's a better fighter. He's a younger fighter, and he has 3 of the 4 world titles at heavyweight. Deontay Wilder has the other one. I love this match between these two guys. I love it. I would love to see these two guys go at it. But Wilder couldn't even agree on a $100 million offer from DAZN to fight Anthony Joshua. And it would have covered 2 fucking fights. $100 million at least. You know why? Because this guy feels he deserves more. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But these two guys need to sit down. Now, Wilder did say, it's funny, he did not talk shit about Anthony Joshua. He said, hey, we got to work out a deal. The fight's going to happen. Don't worry about it. He said after, we got to sit down and make a deal. Anthony Joshua said the same thing. These guys, I think it's closer than what we think it is, because these guys aren't talking shit now. These guys have been bickering like 2 fucking little girls for the last couple years now. Now for some reason that dynamic has changed recently. And Wilder and Joshua seem open to it without talking shit. I think they're just tired of hearing that people want to see it. They want to get it done already. I think they're almost desperate themselves to get it done because people want it so badly. But I don't see it happening this year. I think they're going to work out their kinks and other stuff and demand this fight next year. So that includes Tyson Fury. Fury's fighting in June. I think he's going to get a win. I think he'll fight somebody else later in the year. I think Deontay Wilder's best option going forward and next is a rematch with Luis Ortiz. I love this fight. The first fight was fucking great. It really gained the respect that I have for Wilder as a fighter. The heart that he has to fight a top 5 guy. I got Luis Ortiz as my 4th best heavyweight outside of Fury, Joshua, and Wilder. It really showed me what Ortiz was made of, and it showed me what Wilder was made of. I just don't want Wilder to go back fighting bums like Breazeale, because that's what he did the previous 6, 7 title defenses. He fought nobodies, guys, and not complete nobodies, but guys that were past it or didn't belong in the ring with Wilder at that time. And Wilder now needs to face somebody good in his next fight. I love Luis Ortiz as an option if he cannot do the Fury or Joshua fight. After that, it's kind of wide open, but Adam Konaki would be a fun fight just because he's a knockout fighter himself. Another big fight is Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte has to be an option for one of the 3 fucking guys this year. This guy, to me, was the heavyweight of the year last year. I mean, he was fucking awesome in 2018. And he should have been the number one contender. He actually was. The WBC, without even, for no reason, moved Brazil to the number one ranking over Dillian Whyte when Dillian Whyte was already there. And it's a fucking joke that happened. Now Dillian Whyte's taking a risk and facing another top-end heavyweight. He's taking on fucking Oscar Rivas, who's undefeated in July. And if he beats Rivas, which I think Whyte will, Deontay Wilder needs to fight this guy. You know, if he doesn't fight Luis Ortiz. I still have Ortiz slightly ahead of Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is my 5th best heavyweight in the world right now. So, there's those options. Other than that, after that for Wilder, I don't know, guys. There's not, Konaki is right at the tail end of the top 10. Other guys have already been beaten by, that are close to the top 10 or whatever, have already been beaten by Anthony Joshua. Like Joseph Parker's number 6, he got beat by Joshua. Alexander Povetkin got beat by Joshua, got beat by Klitschko. Kubrat Pulev is probably going to fight Joshua next. So there's really not much good options. I think he fights Ortiz to settle the score, to see who truly is the better man, because I would love that rematch. I really think Ortiz, the first time out, people don't know this, but he fought, I think, 2 rounds in December prior to that March fight in 2018. So it was a 3-month layoff, but only 2 rounds in. Prior to that, he hadn't fought in a year, Ortiz, because he had promotional issues. And prior to that, I think he only fought in 2016. He only fought a couple times, but they were against nobody. So Ortiz going in was really kind of rusty against Wilder the first time, and he ran out of gas. In that fight, he got tired. He ran out of gas. He's been fighting consistently ever since. He's fought twice since the Wilder loss. He came back in December, fought 10 rounds. Then he came back and fought another 10 rounds here against, back in March. And he fought 10 rounds against Wilder last year. He's been fighting consistently, and he's been putting in the rounds and the work. I think a fully trained Luis Ortiz in a rematch, it could mean the difference. But Wilder gained a lot of fucking confidence after that win. So I would love to see these two guys lock horns, settle the score. That's what I want to see next. Of course, if those 2 fights with Fury and Joshua can't be made. If not, Adam Konaki, I think, is his best option. Well, Dillian Whyte is second, and then Adam Konaki, as we mentioned. So that's it, guys. What's next on Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion? True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.